The school caretaker was never supposed to open that door. What he saw on the other side sent shivers down his spine. There was no turning back now. This secret had been haunting him for years. It was time to let the world know what secrets lie behind the door. Hokkaido School was one of the oldest buildings in town. Built in 1923, it was a grand old schoolhouse with high ceilings and long, echoing hallways. For decades, it had been the pride of the community, but more recently, whispers had begun to circulate about its dark past. The once cherished building was now the subject of chilling rumors. Tales that made parents pull their children out of Hokkaido and left the teachers too afraid to step foot inside after sunset. As a teacher at Hokkaido School, Akari had heard her fair share of ghost stories over the years, usually dismissed them as superstitious nonsense. That is, until she started hearing strange noises in the abandoned classroom at the end of the North Hall. When she first moved into the staff room next door, she thought it was just the settling of an old building. But then the sounds began to intensify. At night, she would hear chains dragging, metal moans, and muffled screams. Sometimes it sounded like someone was running down the hall, crashing through the desks and chairs, before stopping abruptly outside her door. She would wake up to find all the furniture overturned. Although she was skeptical, her colleagues were quick to share their theories. It wasn't just Akari who had become uneasy. Other teachers had experienced strange phenomena in the old North Wing. They spoke of books flying off shelves, chalk scratching across blackboards, and disembodied footsteps echoing in the empty halls. One particularly vivid story involved a music teacher named Kenji. He had ventured into the North Wing to retrieve his instrument from the storage room. As he made his way through the darkened corridors, he swore he heard the faint strains of a piano being played. The music seemed to drift from the very room everyone feared. Room 302. At first, Kenji had thought it was just his imagination, the product of an overactive mind and the gloomy atmosphere. But then the notes grew louder, more distinct. Curiosity and perhaps a touch of morbid fascination compelled him to investigate. Slowly, he made his way towards the sound, each step echoing ominously in the silence. As he neared room 302, the music swelled, filling the hallway with a haunting melody. His heart pounding, Kenji knocked on the door. There was no reply. He turned the knob and pushed the door open. Inside, the room was pitch black, the windows covered with heavy curtains. Yet the music continued to play, seeming to emanate from the very walls themselves. Kenji stepped inside, his eyes struggling to pierce the darkness. Then he saw it, a grand piano standing in the center of the room, its keys moving as if played by an invisible hand. He recoiled in surprise, stumbling backwards. The music stopped abruptly. Kenji fled, not daring to look back. When he reported this to the principal, Mr. Tanaka, he was met with a dismissive wave of the hand. "There are always strange things going on in room 302, the principal had said, his tone weary. "It's best not to investigate. Let sleeping ghosts lie." Kenji, however, couldn't let it go. He could unshake the image of the ghostly pianist or the haunting tune that echoed in his nightmares. He began researching the school's history, hoping to find an explanation for the strange occurrences. In the dusty archives of the town library, he found a faded photograph and an article from the school's first year. The article detailed the sudden and tragic death of a music teacher, Miss Yumiko, who had died in room 302 under mysterious circumstances. Some whispered that she had taken her own life, while others claimed she had been murdered by a jealous colleague. The more he dug, the darker the picture of Miss Yumiko became. He learned that she was known for her exceptional talent and her strict teaching methods. Her dedication to music was matched only by her fierce determination to succeed. But her brilliance and ambition had made her many enemies among both students and fellow teachers. The investigation was taking a toll on Kenji. The more he uncovered about Miss Yumiko's past, the more he realized the depth of her despair and the malevolence of the forces that had brought her down. Then came the photograph. It was a picture of the music department staff from the year Miss Yumiko died. And in the center, her pale face, staring directly at the camera, was the woman from the photo. He knew instantly that this was the same woman he had seen in his vision. Her eyes, even in death, held a haunting intensity that seemed to pierce through the decades and reach out to him across time. As he stared at the photo, a chill ran down his spine, and the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. He understood now why the school was cursed, why room 302 was avoided at all costs. Miss Yamiko's spirit was trapped there, seeking solace or perhaps revenge. He resolved to help her find peace, even if it meant confronting the darkness that lingered within these four walls. He shared his findings with Akari, who was as intrigued as she was skeptical. Together, they decided to seek out the headmaster, hoping to learn more about the school's haunted past. But when they found him, his face drained of color, his hands shaking, he told them something that shocked them to their core. "There is a curse on this school," he whispered, his voice hoarse. "A curse that has taken root in room 302. Many have tried to uncover its source, but none have returned." He looked at them, his eyes filled with a desperate plea. "You must not investigate. It is too dangerous." Despite the principal's warnings, Akari and Kenji couldn't ignore the growing sense of dread that permeated Hokkaido. With each passing day, the atmosphere grew heavier, the shadows deeper. The whispers in the halls grew louder, carrying tales of the school's tormented past. Their determination to break the curse only intensified. They delved deeper into the school's history, uncovering a tale of tragedy, jealousy, and despair. They learned of a young girl named Hannah who had died in the playground, a victim of a cruel prank. Then there was the story of the twins, Hiro and Akira, who had vanished without a trace after a heated argument with their classmates. As the days passed, Akari and Kenji felt the darkness of the school's history pressing down on them. The weight of the curse seemed to grow heavier, threatening to consume them, yet they pressed on, driven by their need to understand and ultimately break the cycle of suffering. Finally, they stood before the heavy wooden door of room 302. Kenji reached out, his fingers trembling slightly, and knocked. A moment stretched into an eternity before a faint scratching sound came from within. The door creaked open, revealing a staircase that spiraled into darkness. Kenji and Akari exchanged a nervous glance. They knew that whatever awaited them in the darkness of room 302, they were about to uncover the truth behind Hokkaido School's haunting curse. With hearts pounding and cameras in hand, they descended the stairs. The air grew colder, the shadows deeper. Then they saw it, an altar shrouded in cobwebs and dust. On it was a single book bound in leather. As Kenji reached for it, a gust of wind suddenly slammed the door shut, plunging them into total darkness. Terror gripped them as they heard chains dragging metal moans and muffled screams. Was this the curse manifesting, reaching out to punish those who dared disturb its slumber? Kenji and Akari panicked, flailing in the darkness as they tried to find the door. But their terror soon turned to shock. Emerging from the room, they stumbled into the school's courtyard. Before them lay the town, bathed in the warm glow of dawn. The familiar streets and houses brought a rush of relief, grounding them in reality. Had they been trapped in room 300 to 4 hours, days? How could this be possible? As the sun rose higher, casting its golden light over the town, Kenji and Akari turned to each other, their faces pale, their eyes wide with wonder and disbelief. They had survived the curse of Hokkaido School, but the experience had changed them. The carefree joy of youth was gone, replaced by a profound understanding of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of their seemingly idyllic town. Now, as the bell rang, signaling the start of another school day at Hokkaido, they stood together in the staff room, sharing their experiences with their colleagues. The room was alive with gasps, murmurs, and wide-eyed disbelief as they recounted their harrowing journey into the heart of the curse. The North Wing, once a symbol of fear and mystery, now held a new significance. It was a reminder of their bravery, a testament to the bonds they had forged in the face of the unknown. While students at Hokkaido School went about their day, teachers carried on, a bit heavier but stronger, forever linked by the secrets of room 302.